The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
You are now listening to the Allen and DJ Show on 103.5 FM WLSP-LP, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. We're here to talk about self-improvement, lifestyle, and becoming the very best version of yourself.
You're now listening to the Allen and DJ Show.
Yo, Milwaukee, Sun Prairie, and all the surrounding areas. Welcome to the Allen and DJ Show, man. And I'm Allen.
And this is your boy, DJ.
DJ, man, what's going on, Seven?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, man?
You know, just been a rough week, man. You know, Bambi the deer, her friends, they all been tripping on me. You know, just all this negativity that's been going on around us and around our situation. And, you know, I'm just, you know what? I actually want to talk about that today. Let's cover that today. Let's talk about signs of negative people.
Okay.
But let's give it to them that the way the Allen and DJ Show know how to give it to them. Like, let's talk about bullet point number one, man, because I hear so much of this and just too much of this goes on, just complaining.
Absolutely.
But why they complain so much?
Man, they complain so much because a lot of times, like, they don't get their own way. And with these type of people, they're hard to please, man. They're really hard to please. Like, nothing is right. Everything is wrong. And because of that, sometimes they could just be complaining just to be complaining because they're bored.
Yeah, you know, I done dealt with some people who complain so much that it just be excessive complaining about any and everything. You like, dude, like, what's the problem now? Or if I did this right now, this is wrong. Or this is,
Yeah.
you feel what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you can't win for losing. And you're like, why? Like, what's the problem? Like, what did I do?
Yeah.
And it just always like constant complaining. You know, you didn't put the sheets away, or, you know, you didn't wash the dishes, or, you know, like, well, how come, you know what I'm saying, you didn't come out and open up the door for me? You know I was coming home at a certain time. It just be little stuff that just be like complaining. And it's just like, dude, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What complaining also does is, like, it mentally and physically drain you for the people that has to listen to it. So basically, like, if you're telling me about your day and you complaining about it, and I got to sit here and listen to it for like 4 or 5 hours, then eventually I'm going to get tired.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because, you know, you're not looking at things from a positive perspective.
Yeah.
You're always looking at things from a negative perspective. And that, dude, like, that could get draining. And that could be draining for anybody. So it's like, you know, let's focus on, like, not trying to do too much complaining. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just really not. Because it can push a person away.
Absolutely.
And bullet point number 2, lack of responsibility.
That's interesting.
Let's take this one from the side when it comes to, like, dealing, like, with a negative person. To me, dealing with somebody with lack of responsibility is somebody in their work or, like, in a well-being of a team. That's like, so let's say if you got 5 of us on the team and we're here to do a job, whether if it's basketball or whatever the case may be, somebody not doing their part, somebody lacking, they being a little lazy, and they're just taking lack of responsibility. And it's like, dude, like, your responsibility is to rebound the ball. I need you to do better at rebounding the ball.
Yeah.
So it's just lack of, responsibility.
Absolutely. And what I think about lack of responsibility is basically like that person never taking responsibility for being negative. So them being negative is causing, like, it's like basically a cause and effect. So, like, them being negative is causing other problems to happen, but they're not going to take the responsibility for that. They're going to look at it as like they're just making a statement, and you be like, no, you're complaining.
And they're placing the blame on other people.
Absolutely.
So it's like, you know, take responsibility for what you're doing wrong as well, because you can't always keep placing the blame on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to look at yourself.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Just like in relationships, you know, people, they have a lack of responsibility. Like, they're not doing their part in the relationship. And you so quick to blame the other person, but you got to take a look at yourself.
Yep.
So, you know, like, that's another sign of a negative person that I would try to watch out for.
And also, like, with a lack of responsibility, too. Like, a negative person doesn't take the responsibility for not why they're where they need to be in their life. You're not where you need to be in your life because you're not where you need to be in your life. Like, that's your fault.
Yeah.
It ain't because of everything else. Like, but a negative person to blame everybody else for that. And to be honest, if you stay negative things are going to always happen.
Because, you know, like the power of the, what we always talk about, the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you most definitely want to watch out for that. And, you know, bullet point 3, they are negative.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like when you're dealing with people that are negative, like, you know, let's say one of the biggest red flags of dealing with a toxic person is negativity. You know, like, everything about them represent negative. Or, you know, like, they can have a situation and they quick to turn it to a negative.
Yep.
Man, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't like her. And you're like, why you don't like her? Or why you don't like him? I just don't know, dude. Man. Woo, woo. You like, dude, like, that's negative. Or, you know, they quick to tell you negative news.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, tell me something positive. Like, I don't want to keep hearing that negative stuff all day. Like, dude, like, that's draining, bro. It's really draining.
It is, man. Like we said, like in the bullet point that we're going to talk about later, is their energy vampire.
Yeah, just, you know, and yeah, that, you know, I'm a way to get into that one.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, like, it's true, though. You know, like, everything that about this person, you ever notice, like, you going to a job, you see somebody negative come in, you like, oh, brother, here it goes. It's finna be a long day. Because everything about them is just negative, dude. And you like, bro, like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Which brings me into the next bullet point, that they're selfish.
Yeah.
No, you know, like, dealing with, like, a negative person, they selfish because it's like a toxic person always have a way of making you think that, you know what I'm saying, like, they're good for you, but when all reality, they ain't doing nothing but thinking about themselves and doing things that could be in the best benefit for them.
Yep.
So, you know, even if I say, man, why don't you go talk to the manager about doing this or doing that, but he knows I'm leading you to do it and not me. Mm-hmm. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's selfish.
Like I said, like, when it comes down to being selfish, like, they're always thinking about themselves, but they're always never thinking about how their actions or their thoughts affect other people.
No. Because that's like kind of like with a narcissist, like we did a show on that. Like, that's just how some negative people think, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or that's just how selfish people think. It's like, I'm going to do this because this is going to benefit me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I don't care about nobody else but my situation, what I got going on and what's best for me. And, dude, that's not cool, man.
Nope. And then, like, also with somebody, how somebody becomes selfish. I mean, when somebody is selfish, too, that ends up turning into negative energy, and like that negative energy will rub off on everybody else. So it's basically like transmitted from person to person. So how you notice, like, when you came to work and somebody was negative, and all of a sudden in that whole group in that conversation, that person was talking negative, all of a sudden everybody's starting to talk negative in that conversation. So that energy transferred from one person to 5 people in that whole little circle. Now they finna spread out and spread more negativity in that circle.
No, facts, man. Like, that's how I know, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, you're pretty much telling the truth, DJ, because people do that. You know, like, I'm coming to work and I'm all happy. I'm like, hey, man, good morning, everybody. Then you got that one coming through the door. Man, it's bull, man. I don't even feel like being here today. And then, you know, so now they mad about everything going on, let's say, in their personal life. And it just takes it out on everybody. And that spreads like a wildfire, bro. Nobody wants to go through that. So try not to deal with somebody who's selfish. And bullet point 5, worrying, obsessive worrying.
Oh, man.
You know, always worrying about the negative things, though. You know, it's like, it's never nothing positive, or like, I'm always big on, okay, we understand this is negative. We understand that this is going on. But let's look at the like the positive side of this. Like let's change our perspective for a minute. But a worrier gonna always worry about the negative.
Yep.
And the more you worry, the more it manifests into your reality.
And what happens to a person that worries so much is that they always carry that doubt with them, no matter what. And then also, they always mentally afraid. That could lead up to paranoia.
Yeah. Because they, constantly worrying about negative people, and they're anxious. I mean, like, they anxious about what people got going on. They consistently plagued by what is or what is such or what if I could, man, I don't know. Ah, man, he said this, man, or man, I got wrote up for the first time and I was really on my mind all day.
Yep.
Instead of saying, okay, dude, I'm just gonna do better next time.
Absolutely.
So, like I try to tell people, like, stop focusing on obsessive worrying.
Absolutely.
Because, it's not going to get you anywhere. And, bullet point number 6, constant criticism.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Break that one down, DJ.
Like when somebody is constantly criticizing, they're always critiquing like themselves, others, and situations. So it's not only just them critiquing themselves, but they're also criticizing others, which that could suck. But then they also critiquing or criticizing the situation that they're in, and you like, dang, man, like you just did a triple threat on me.
No, like that's true. Constant criticism. It's some like a toxic individual that's always criticizing somebody for something. Girl, like, why you got that dress on today? Or bro, like, you come to the gym with that bag again, bro? Just like little bitty stuff.
Yep.
Or like nitpicking. Bro, like, man, how come, dog, you know what I'm saying, you still got your beard, bro? Like, man, you cut it off, dog, you'll look more like this, you'll be more professional. Understand, like, what's wrong with me having my beard if I keep it shaped up? Or, what's wrong with what I'm wearing at the gym? As long as I keep myself covered, I can't help the way I'm built, when it comes to a chick.
Yep.
And that constant criticism is, like, that's a sign of a toxic person.
Yeah, and then, like, the person that the person that you criticizing, trying to impress you, you ain't gonna be able to impress them. Like, just like complaining, it's hard to please these type of people because they're never satisfied.
Right. Because, bro, like, it's true. It's like, no matter what I do, like, it's never good enough. Like, you're gonna criticize me on something.
Yeah. Cooking, all that
stuff, man. Like,
every little thing.
So, it's constantly like, nah, dude, I'm good on that. And bullet point number 7, guilty manipulation. Now, DJ, this going to be in the realm of you right here. I'm going to let you eat on this one.
All right, yeah, let me really break that down because, like, this is going to go over a lot of people's head if I don't break it down how it is. Like, what usually happens when people deal with guilt and manipulation is, like, a negative person will sometimes use both in the same situation. But let me break that down. Like, basically what'll happen is, like, they'll get you to do something negative, but then feel guilty later. An example of that would be like, let's say you needed to go to Chicago for an audition or something like that. But I don't have my license. But you still want to go anyway.
Yeah, still want to go anyway. And it's kind of like, dude, like, why'd you doing this?
Yeah,
man?
But you still want to go anyway. So now you not only being selfish, but now you like, man, now you putting my life in jeopardy because if I get caught, I can go to jail. So now we take that risk and we come back and now I get caught by the cops. Now you have the sign of guilt.
Sign of guilt. And also, too, like, I manipulated you into the plan of doing it.
Absolutely.
And when you don't do what they want you to do, then it's like, oh, dog, you weak, bro. You scary,
Absolutely.
Them are manipulation tactics that they use to kind of, like, to get you to do something. So, like, don't be so quick to fall for that, guys. Like, please don't.
Absolutely. But also, let me break down the other way of how they use it as well, because they use it in both ways, but they use it the opposite of each other. So basically, you could feel guilty before they tell you to do something negative. let me use an example of
Oh,
that.
break that down.
Yeah,
DJ.
let me use an example of that. Like, and let me see how I want to put this. Let's say you want to ask me for money to support a habit. You know it's wrong.
Yeah.
That person that you about to ask, you know if you really told me the truth, I would say no. But you need to support your habit, so you feel guilty in the back of your mind, but you got to support your habit, so you'll still go and ask me anyway.
Yeah.
By manipulating me and saying like, hey, mom's lights finna get shut off. We ain't got no groceries in the house. Can I borrow $2,000?
Man.
You not finna use $2,000 for groceries and lights. You finna use $2,000 to basically support your habit. So you feel guilty, but you're gonna do it anyway. So you're gonna manipulate me to do it.
Exactly. And the common person gonna do what? Fall for it.
Fall for it.
Hey, DJ, you could have brought that down no better, man. You could have brought that down no better.
Yeah.
But it's true though. People do that. So, but basically what we're trying to say in a nutshell is when people do that, that's signs of a negative person.
Absolutely.
And please stay away from them. And bullet point number 8, boundary violation.
Oh, that's a good one too. Now,
Healthy boundaries are, are like essential for maintaining a sense of like harmony, self-respect in any relationship. However, there are toxic individuals too that would kind of cross those boundaries.
Yep.
And that's a boundary violation. We're like, yo, hey, hold up, Holmes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
absolutely. When it comes down to boundary violations, like now you're entering the realm of like a negative person in the sense of now they're not bringing no value into your life. So basically, that person that not bringing value in your life is what they're doing is they're pressuring you into doing something that you're not comfortable with doing. Just like when we talked about with the guilt and manipulation.
Exactly. And those are boundary violations. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like they causing you to do stuff that you never did before, or, you crossing certain boundaries that you're like, dude, hold on, Holmes. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like when you doing this like this?
Mm-hmm.
So, like it's good to know when you're dealing with a negative person, when you say, hey, like these are the boundaries I got. I'll set these up. Don't cross these boundaries. If you do, well, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we ain't cool.
Yep.
And they do it anyway.
Yep.
And that's for like their own manipulation, like their own selfishness, their own pleasures.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could lie to you just to manipulate you out of something that cross boundaries with you, and one of your boundaries might be like, don't lie to me.
Yep.
I just did.
You just lied to me.
So, like everybody don't play that. And, like dumb boundaries that you cross, and, you don't want to do that in general. You just don't want to do that. Like, I would say before I end off on this bullet point, make sure y'all set healthy boundaries. And, we also did a show on that. If you see somebody starting to cross those boundaries or go overboard, kick them down the road.
Absolutely. And also when it comes down to boundary violations, like what that person also does, that a negative person does is like they disrespect your personal beliefs and your values. So they don't even they not only don't value your beliefs or your values, they're disrespecting them. And they also disrespecting your privacy.
Most definitely. And, like that's a sign of a toxic people, what I'm saying, or even like a toxic relationship.
Absolutely.
And bullet point 9, bad news.
Oh, man.
So, we're dealing with this. It's like, you constantly got people out there that live for this.
Yep.
And it's like, Dirty, tell me something good. Why everything you tell me is bad? I don't want to hear that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Tell me something good.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm going to let you attack this one, DJ.
Okay. No, what happens usually when it comes down to bad news is that they either watched it or they're either watching it on TV and they come to you with it, or they done seen something in reality and they saying something about it. So they're always either watching it and they're saying it, or they done seen it and they're saying it. So it's always something, and when they saying the bad news, it's always something negative or something drastic than what it really was.
Yeah, just man, just doing the most. You're like, bro, like, why'd you always telling me something bad? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a sign of a toxic person. I'm not saying everything they're going to say going to be perfect and peachy and roses and red all the time. Please trust me. I'm not saying that. But you always got something negative or bad to say. Or like there's always some bad news surrounding this person or their name.
Yep.
Get away from them.
Yep.
Because negative people like love coming into your orbital saying things like, have you heard this? Or guess what I heard? Or dude, like you should have saw this yesterday. Or did you hear about a girl can pay her rent? Like, dude, like I don't care about stuff like that. Like, they ain't none of my business.
Like basically like a gossiper.
Yeah.
But what it also does too is it basically brings your mood down, which it also affects like other people's moods. So like if you tell me bad news, then I'm gonna be mad and I'm gonna be sad for the day.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, with my mood being down, somebody else might come to me and be like, what's going on? And then I might tell them what's going on. And then all of a sudden, their mood gets brought down.
Yep.
And now
it's like a domino effect.
Yep.
Which is the next bullet point I want to talk about, 10, because that feeds right into it. Energy vampires.
Oh, man.
D, kill them on this one, bro.
The thing with energy vampires is that, like, negative people can drain your energy. They can mentally and physically drain your energy. And it's crazy because, like, people think, like, when negative people drain you mentally, no, they can physically drain you to the point to where, like, you listening to them for so long, you want to fall asleep. Or you listen to them so long that you'll back up off the conversation or you'll redirect the conversation so you don't have to hear it no more because you just physically drained. Because if you listen to any more of it, you're going to get lazy.
Man, you couldn't have said that no better. They become energy vampires to me because just by the addition of seeing or demanding negative people to suck the energy out of you. I want. Man, how come I can't get $20? But you got plenty of money. Just always constantly bothering you, nagging you about something or anything. Them are energy vampires. And when it get to that, you most definitely want to stay away from that. Because tell you that right now, like, that ain't cool.
And then, like, also with energy vampires, like, you notice, like, they tell you not the same story, but they tell you the same situation every time. Like, but let me give you an example of that. So, because, like, people may not understand. What I mean by that is they might say something like, hey, did you see that game last night? And you be like, yeah. Oh, man, old boy scored like 30 points. Then they come to you the next day and be like, oh, yeah, did you see that game last night?
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, old boy had 40 points. And then they come to you again and be like, hey, did you see that game last night? You see how they repeated themselves?
Yeah.
They talk about different situations, but it's the same result.
Same result.
But eventually, when you listen to that and you constantly keep listening to that and all you talking about is sports, and you ain't talking about self-improvement, you ain't talking about going to the gym, you ain't talking about nothing to advance yourself in life, then eventually you're going to get bored or you're going to get tired of hearing that and you're going to back off and you're going to pull back from the conversation anyway.
Because, dude, like, at the end of the day, bro, like, man, nobody want to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
like,
bro.
Hear that. I mean, like, not 24/7.
Nah,
to the point where, like, I know I'm watching you so much, I'm just reading your stats and how many points you average and what you did in high school. Like, that's doing too much.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of finish off this one and round it up with with bullet point 11. Let's talk about gaslighting and what's always negative about the future, tied in with a little bit of depression.
Oh, yeah. Let me break down gaslighting, though. But gaslighting is basically like a form of psychological abuse where a person causes someone to question their sanity, memories, and perception of reality.
That's true. And also, like the manipulation of the abuser that attempts to slow down self-thoughts. Make the victim feel bad.
Absolutely.
Like they make you feel bad about something that, you know what I'm saying, that you didn't even do. And then, and you know, like, and that could come with always thinking negative about the future. Just a negative person that's always like, just a Debbie Downer, bro. Just a Debbie Downer,
Absolutely.
which can make you start to feel depressed and unhappy. And when feeling depressed, it starts to make you feel sad. You look irritable, numb, lack of motivation and energy, and you just don't want to do nothing. It's like, dude, I'm just giving up on everything in life. He said I can't do it, and the cat down the road said that I ain't, so I don't think that I am.
Yeah.
And excuse my voice today, I'm a little, hoarse, just getting over a sore throat a little bit, but it's true though. Like, don't nobody want to hear that. And with gaslighting, it can like knock down all three of these in a row.
Yep.
It just start making you feel like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Now, like, I don't got nothing to look forward towards in the future. Which start making you feel depressed.
Absolutely. And like also when it comes down to like negative people, like how they utilize gaslighting, sometimes they utilize it by countering, which means that they're questioning somebody's memory. Which for an example, they'll say something like, "Are you sure about that?" Or, "Nah, you didn't say that," and you
Right.
said that, and or like let me give you an example of it in reality. Like, let's say a girl told me, let's say I told a girl like I'll meet up with her on Wednesday, but I don't meet up with her Wednesday, and it comes down to Thursday. Then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
she called me and be like, "Oh, I thought we were supposed to meet up," and I tell her like, I don't think you said that, or I don't remember that. And she'd be like, "Yes, you did. You did say that." And I'd be like, "Nah, I think you got memory problems." "Nah, you did say that. Maybe you said that on Tuesday." And you like, "Nah, because I ain't see you on Tuesday. So how could I say that on Tuesday?" Really, in reality, you didn't say it on Tuesday because you didn't see her on Tuesday. You see how I just gaslighted you?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I see that.
Or then or she'd be like, "Maybe it was Monday." "Nah, you didn't say that on Monday because I didn't see you on Monday either. Really, you said it on Wednesday. I know you said it on Wednesday, but you don't know that I said it on Wednesday. You see how I just gaslighted you?"
Got you. Gaslight you just like that. So, DJ, bring into the final thought, man. What do you want to tell people out there the signs when they know that they're about to embark on a negative person?
Just pay attention to all these signs to when it comes down to associating with a negative person, because like any of these signs are red flags that y'all need to stay away from, because a negative person can not only like drain your energy, but they can transmit their energy to you, and you don't want that because then it'll affect your whole day.
That's true. And as for me, stop hanging around with people who don't want to take responsibility. Watch out for the selfishness. Watch out for people who try to manipulate you to doing things and make you feel guilty. And most importantly, stay away from vampire energies, because your energy should be going sky high, not sky low. Not low. Because when it's low, they just going to take you down. But the moment that you kick them cats down the road and maneuvering them from around you, you just became the very best version of yourself. Now, this is the Alan and DJ Show. You can find us on YouTube at the Alan and DJ Show. You can find us on the Alan and DJ Show at gmail.com. If you have any questions and anything that you want us to talk about, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Alan Hutchinson, and William J. Smith on Instagram and Facebook. And until next time, become a master of your life and follow that fan page at the Alan and DJ Show on Facebook. And just stay well, stay healthy.
Peace.